Hi, and welcome to the Cengage video series, Teaching with Impact in Psychology, where we discuss some of the challenges facing the higher education community and share hints and ideas for how to engage and support your students and consider the resources you can use to deliver your course. My name's Laura, and I'm the Senior Marketing Manager for our Psychology Learning Solutions here at Cengage, and today I'm joined by Hannie van Hooff. Hannie is lecturer at the Faculty of Science, University of Amsterdam in the Netherlands. She's also the co-author with Bruce Goldstein of the EMEA edition of Cognitive Psychology, now in its second edition. She's published many research papers in internationally renowned journals and is an expert in the recording and analysis of event-related brain potentials. She's been a long-standing member of the Psychophysiology Society and since 2009 has been focused on the development and teaching of courses integrating cognitive and biological sciences. Hannie, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
So in this session, we're going to discuss some of the positive changes that we can make from teaching online over the past many months. Hannie, as an experienced educator, it'd be great if you could talk us through what changed for you and what you think you'll take with you into your future teaching.
So based on my experience from last year when we had to do full online teaching, so what we did is actually changed some of the content that we would normally teach in a big lecture theatre, and we changed that into so-called self-study modules. So what we did still in a sort of lecture format was actually introducing the topic and trying to make students enthusiastic to start reading and to get to grips with the materials themselves. And that they did with those self-study modules. So that was based on short video clips or short parts of the textbook that they had to read and then answer questions on, some self-assessment quizzes kind of things. And then if they had any questions about the materials, that they could actually post on discussion boards. And then in a follow-up lecture, we could actually come back as a lecturer, you could come back to the questions that students had. So it was much more student-driven, and actually, I must say, that worked really well. So that was something I definitely want to take back to now on-campus teaching again. That we actually, so we introduce the topic, but that students then get to do something themselves and then only teach the things that they do not understand in the first instance. So that's something actually quite positive that came out of teaching from online last year.
That sounds like a really good approach, and also sounds like maybe it gave students a bit more kind of responsibility, a bit more autonomy in their learning.
Yes, and it prevented you to go over the whole chapter. Some parts are quite easy to understand. Like if no students ask any questions about certain paragraphs, but you don't have to explain it again. So they can actually just learn it from the textbook. And I also thought it was quite nice to use some of the, for example, the multiple choice questions that are available for the textbook, that you use them as, like self-practice materials, and that they actually discover themselves what they know and what they don't know yet, and what they still have to study a little bit more on.
I think that sounds very much in line with some of the things we do at Cengage, not just in psychology, but across lots of our content, where we're trying to make resources that help students to really hone in and identify where they need more help, and possibly that that really makes your role kind of a bit more you're supporting the areas where they need it most, and
exactly. And that the thing is, we all already knew this, but because of the fact that we now had to go online, that was a little bit enforced upon us. And then we actually adapted all those, finally, we actually adapted those materials that were already there, but we, sometimes, change sometimes comes too slowly, and now suddenly we had to change. And I think it's that definitely for the better. I think it's much more active learning approach.
Yeah,
and less teaching, actually, in that sense. You know, it's more student-centered.
Yes, student-centered is a very good description. It's very similar to, I don't know if you've heard of the flipped learning
exactly
approach. So we've talked with lots of instructors about that, because it just means that students have that base knowledge before they come in, and then you can make the very best use of your time with them. It does rely on them doing the work. Did you have any challenges around students' preparedness, making sure that they've engaged to a point where they can then make the best use of your time?
Yes, well, that I think is something that can be improved. You always, you like when you teach 100 students, say, you reach about half of them with these kind of methods, and the other ones, they need a little bit more push to actually also go ahead. So what you could do, but we didn't do that yet, but maybe something for in the future, is to make some of those self-assessments exercise obligatory, like that they have to do it to pass the course or something. Not just for marks, but that they just have to do it. So basically on a pass-fail basis or something, or that's something.
I think,
and especially in an online environment, it's very difficult to get to see the response of 100 students. It's like you see the first 20 that are in view, and there are always students, of course, who will ask questions, and there are also students who prefer not to ask questions. But to get them all involved, of course, that's the challenge.
Yeah, that's almost the ultimate goal, is to engage everyone. But it's interesting to hear about your experience, and that there were some kind of positive changes that you can make to how you teach to help your students achieve more, ultimately, to be more successful. So is that something you're taking forward this year? Has it impacted how you're kind of teaching going forward? Are there things that you can do a bit differently, having had that experience?
Yes, I do take that forward, and then instead of the online introductions and the question hours afterwards, especially the questions hour afterwards, I would like to do that on campus, because then you can make it much more interactive and much so I think that will make it easier to let everyone participate, I think. And definitely. Also to talk a little bit more, they can talk to each other a little bit more, because that's they have missed that, the learning together thing, so that you can work better in smaller groups as well.
So they still benefit from that kind of peer-to-peer interaction. So you're taking forward this theory and applying the best bits, but in the format that is best going to benefit their learning. Great, thank you. That's a really good insight into kind of your experience. I know, many of the instructors we work with and those watching will have had all sorts of different experiences, but just to get some kind of insight and tips on how you've approached it is really, really helpful. So thank you for that. And to those joining us, I hope you found this episode useful. If you've got any ideas of other topics you'd like covered, or you'd like to get involved, please get in touch via our website. And I hope you have enjoyed this session today. Thank you.